Good evening, I am Nasa King. Just a reminder, you can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBC Online, and also get all the latest news from our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter pages, all at TBC Online. The President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, has appointed Sixtus Mapunda to be the new Sunbaranga District Commissioner. Mr. Mapunda replaces Jane Nyamsenda, whose appointment has been revoked. The appointment starts immediately. Today is the World Kidney Day. The day gives an opportunity to the global campaign that aims to raise awareness of the importance of the kidney to our health and to reduce the frequency and impact of kidney diseases. The day is celebrated every second Thursday of March. Here in Tanzania, there have been various major advancements in kidney treatments and transplants. To explain more on the day and medical advancements made in Tanzania, we're joined by Professor Francis Kuria, who is a kidney specialist from Muhimbili National Hospital, speaking with Faithangaga.
Thank you very much, Nasser Kingu. And here with me is Professor Francis Furia from the Muhimbili National Hospital. He is a specialist in kidney disease. Professor, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So as we commemorate World Kidney Day, first of all, how far have we gone in terms of kidney treatment in Tanzania?
Thank you. So we've done, the country has made significant strides in improving the services, and I could really look at the history. I mean, in the past, we used to send patients outside the country, and we used to send patients to UK for kidney transplantation, and we used to send them outside for dialysis and all these services. But in the past 2 decades, we've been able to improve services in the country. We've started hemodialysis in the country. We've improved the training of health specialists. So we started with training doctors, nephrology, kidney specialists in Tanzania, and recently we've started training nurses who are specialists in kidney disease in Tanzania at Muhimbili University. So these are significant strides, and we've started kidney transplantation in Tanzania. We have 2 hospitals that are doing kidney transplantation in Tanzania, which commenced in 2017, and I think we've transplanted more than 100 patients locally. So these are significant strides, and we have dialysis units that have opened up across the country. These are both public facilities, but we also have private facilities opening up dialysis unit. So these are significant strides, and these services are now available in the country. Yeah.
Now, despite these strides that we've made, but the cost is still high. The cost for kidney treatment. Now, what have been the steps taken by the government and the hospital?
Thank you. So if we are looking at the government efforts, the government has been really considerate in providing services to this country. So all these patients that were transplanted outside Tanzania were sponsored by the government. So the government was paying for their treatment, was paying for their transplant to go to overseas, and it was also paying for their drugs that they needed. So, and it's true, the cost of treatment of kidney disease are usually very high, and it's not only in Tanzania. This is throughout the world. Everywhere, all the countries are struggling with treatment and trying to cut down the cost. And how these costs are being reduced is by investing in technology. You know, people are trying to find what are the best ways, which are cheaper and cost and effective and efficient for treating kidney disease. So in Tanzania, the only thing that I will say, if you look at the cost of treatment in Tanzania, I will talk about dialysis. Patients had to move from wherever they live to come to Dar es Salaam for dialysis. But now at least they have services where they live, you know. And the government has provided mechanisms for supporting patients that cannot afford, you know, in terms of exemptions and concessions, you know, in what they have to pay. So these are supports that are always available for patients that are struggling with cost. Yeah.
Now, what are the measures that one can take in order to avoid getting kidney diseases and complications?
All right. So when you talk about kidney diseases, there are 2 types of kidney disease. We have what we call acute renal failure, which really happened abruptly. You know, you have abrupt loss of renal functions, of kidney functions, but we also have what we call chronic kidney disease that develop over time. So the good thing about the acute kidney disease or acute kidney failure is the fact that most of these are reversible. more than 90%. And these are the conditions that accompany other conditions like severe malaria. If you have severe bleeding after delivery, you can get acute kidney injury, acute kidney disease, which usually tend to recover. More than 90% of patients that have acute kidney disease tend to recover. But the ones that have chronic kidney disease, which develops slowly over time, this is the one that really requires long-term treatment in terms of dialysis as well as kidney transplantation. So, and if you're looking at these conditions, particularly the chronic kidney disease, the two leading causes of chronic kidney disease globally are diabetes and hypertension. And these are the leading causes. And of course, these conditions are usually linked with lifestyle. So if your lifestyle is not really healthy, then you have a risk of getting these conditions. So usually what we tell people is you have to keep your body away from diabetes and hypertension. How do you do that? You have to be active. You have to avoid sedentary life, eat less fat, eat less salt, use small amount of salt, use small amount of sugar. We're encouraging use of vegetables and fruits, and we want people to limit how much they take in terms of alcohol. And at the same time, we're asking them to abstain from smoking. So these are the kind of things, of course, in drinking adequate amount of water daily, which is about 2 liters in a day. So these are the kind of things that will really keep people away from kidney diseases.
Thank you very much, Professor. Back to you, Nasa Kingu.
Thank you very much, Faida Ngaga. We remain in health sector. The Deputy Minister of Health, Dr. Godwin Mollel, calls upon regulatory authorities in the country to facilitate the private sector so as to increase investments in manufacturing medical supplies and equipment to support the government to improve the health sector. Here is a report prepared by Shinuna Said, read by Faida Ngaga.
The Deputy Minister of Health, Dr. Godwin Mollel, was in Dar es Salaam inaugurating the N95 manufacturing plant of the Medical Stores Department, MSD, funded by the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA. Dr. Mollel affirms government's mission to facilitate the private sector to be able to manufacture medical and protective supplies to support the government in improving the health sector in the country.
Ni wakati muafaka wa sisi tulioko serikalini kubadilika mawazo.
Now is the right time for those of us in the government to change our thinking and see the private sector as our opponents, but see it as complementary to what we do, because if they do well, we have the ability to do better. If the efficiency is good, it will increase taxes in the government, which will help to improve social services.
On his part, the ambassador of Japan in Tanzania, Yasushi Misawa, says that Tanzania and Japan have been in cooperation since 1960 in various fields.
The best thing was meeting the company's leadership along with the deputy minister, the Japanese Aid Organization, the United Nations Industrial Development Organization. They have worked with Tanzania since the 1960s, when these organizations have been supporting the Tanzanian government.
And the Director General of the Medical Stores Department, Mavere Tukai, assures that the factory will reduce countries' dependence on protective equipment and other medical supplies from abroad.
There are development stakeholders that will support each other, and we have found a second factory where the first one is for normal masks and this one is for N95. MSD's perspective is to reduce dependence on foreign countries. The benefit we get by doing this is foreign reserve, and if the use of foreign currency decreases, we save the nation from financial challenges.
Meanwhile, the Deputy Minister of Health, Dr. Godwin Mollel, hands over medicine for children under 5 years of age worth $8.8 billion to enable health centers in the country to reduce childhood mortality. The construction of the factory has cost more than $600,000.
Minister of Defense Innocent Bashungwa says he will ensure the budget allocated to Tanzania National Service increases in order to effectively implement the Mgeta Farm project in Morogoro region. The move comes after recorded success of the Mgeta Farm in Morogoro region following government handing over the farm to the National Service JKT through its economic wing, Suma JKT. Here is a report prepared by Asher Thomas, read by Apasia Ringo.
It is Lieutenant Colonel Emmanuel Kukula, the commander of the 837th Cheetah JKT in Morogoro region, explaining the progress of the agriculture, livestock and fisheries projects implemented in his unit.
Msimu huu tunatarajia kulima ekari 3,500 za mpunga.
In the coming season, we expect to cultivate 3,500 acres of rice. We have already reached 2,022.7. We expect to finish all 3,500 acres by 30th of March.
After the clarifications, it was time for the Minister of Defense, Innocent Bashungwa, to eyewitness the progress of the project.
Tunaenda kukaa na ndani ya serikali.
We are going to discuss how to raise more money for Tanzania National Service to increase the speed in the feed and the number of seed production.
Here, he is announcing a strategy to boost the fishing project being run by the JKT.
Tunajadiliana na Wizara ya Mifugo na Uvuvi.
We are discussing with the Ministry of Livestock and the Fisheries to see how we can link and help to generate more jobs in the livestock and the fisheries sector.
Regarding the Mgeta firm, which was abandoned by its investor many years ago, Minister Bashungwa says he will ensure that the project remains in the hands of Suma JKT, who have been entrusted to run it since 2021.
We will ensure that this farm remains under the Tanzania National Service because we already see the great benefits from it.
Tayari tunaona faida kubwa sana za mashamba haya kuwa chini ya Jeshi la Kujenga Taifa.
Head of the Tanzania National Services, Major General Rajab Mabele, says the project will continue to flourish, while Kilombero District Commissioner Danstan Kiobia says the project has provided economic opportunities to his people.
Nimshukuru sana Mheshimiwa Rais wa awamu ya 6.
We are very grateful to the Honorable President, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan. She has been giving us various instructions and funds to ensure that Tanzania National Service makes progress.
Jambo la kwanza nafaidika kupata ajira katika mashamba yenyewe.
The first thing is that we are relieved to find employment in the fields. We also benefit by harvesting their crops and bringing them to this factory for further procedures.
JKT's plan is to fully utilize the 25,000 acres that include 13,000 acres of the Suma JKT Mgeta firm and 12,000 acres under the Cheetah JKT to ensure its strategy of sufficient and surplus food production is fully achieved by the year 2024-2025.
Permanent Secretary, Minister of Culture, Arts and Sports, Said Yakubu, has met and held talks with the Deputy Ambassador of Switzerland to Tanzania, who is also the head of the International Cooperation Division, Leo Nasker. The two met in the ministry office in Mtumba in Dodoma region, mainly discussing on how to expand cooperation in the areas of culture and art. Lulua Muhammad has more details.
Ministry of Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Culture, Arts and Sports, Said Yakubu, has expounded on the government's commitment on improving the sector, which has proved to provide employment opportunities to many young people and have contributed greatly to the economic growth. On his part, the Deputy Ambassador says that they have a forum for the development of the cultural sector made up by various embassies and currently is led under the chairmanship of the Dutch and the Swiss embassies. He vowed to continue to cooperate with the ministry and to be the link with various stakeholders on issues of culture and arts.
At least 79 agricultural officers who are undergoing practical training in Sokoine University of Agriculture, SUA, have arrived in Makete District to start the implementation of the Wheat Sector Development Program. It is estimated that more than 522,000 acres with a capacity to produce 800 tons are to be cultivated after receiving 80 tons of seeds from the Ministry of Agriculture. Here is a report by Tatu Abdallah, read by Apasia Ringo.
The plan in Makete District in Njombe region comes following the demand of wheat in the country, where currently more than 90% of wheat is imported from abroad. The strategy started with meetings of stakeholders aiming at advising and preparing firms, and now agricultural experts from the Sokoine University of Agriculture, SUA, and Research Institute, TARI from Uyole, to conduct a soil survey.
Once we get the representative samples, we will send them to the laboratory for processing. If we get information and know the actual condition of the soil, we'll have to write a report.
We will collaborate with the farm officers in preparing the budget report for the production of wheat, and later we will distribute it to different regions.
To accomplish this, SUA experts have sent 79 agricultural officers to conduct the research.
We would like to assure you that we are going to do this work better than you expect.
Njombe Regional Commissioner Anthony Mtaka says the strategic plan of the region is to make Makete District the center of wheat production in the country.
I know some people from this region who are living in China. I will inform them of how the road infrastructure has been improved, the availability of the industrial area and wheat crop. I hope they will agree to invest in this region.
The program, which starts this year, 2023, expects to produce 1.5 tons after every 2 years from half ton currently.
From agriculture now we move to gas. The Tanzania Gas Traders Association has organized a conference of East Africa gas stakeholders with the aim of encouraging the use of clean energy for cooking in the region. Lulua Muhammad has more details.
Speaking in Dar es Salaam, the director of LPG Expo, Catherine Paul, says the conference will go hand in hand with gas products exhibitions and will involve stakeholders from more than 30 countries.
So there will be over 50 exhibitors alone. Just exhibitors alone will be over 50 of them at the exhibition hall. Once again, I would like to encourage everyone in the industry to come because the exhibition itself is free. You just register at the door and you come in and you can meet all these suppliers, equipment dealers. So this is a very good opportunity.
Meanwhile, the production of natural gas in the country has increased from 45 million cubic feet in 2015 to 105 million cubic feet this year. The remarks have been made by the Madimba Natural Gas Processing Plant's Operations Manager, Engineer Sultani Pwaga. He was carrying on the plant operations to secondary school students who came to visit the plant, insisting that increase is due to the increment in the use of natural gas in this country.
The goal of establishing this club is to continue expanding the scope of providing education to the community. We believe that the existence of this club in school will provide good ambassadors to educate the community about TPDC's activities. When these visits are made to students, they prepare them to see the industry in a different ways so that we can find enough experts in oil and gas industries in the country.
Rabbit meat has the highest percentage of protein and also is a cure of various diseases. The manager of Sustainable Nutrition for All project, in charge of 4 regions in the country, Emmanuel Magoyo, says the number of rabbit farmers in Rukwa region has increased from 11 in 2021 to 254 in 2023. Hosea Cheo from Rukwa region has more details.
The number of rabbit breeders is increasing in the Rukwa region due to the fact that they multiply fast.
Rabbit meat is rich in protein, more than 21%. It is also used for medication purposes. The rabbit can also be used for decoration purposes. The rabbit can also be used to make ornaments such as earrings, belts, and sweaters as well. Rabbits also provide fertilizer. The rabbit's urine can also be used as an insecticide in crops such as maize, beans, and groundnuts.
It is claimed that rabbit meat is rich in protein compared to others' meat.
We started with 11 pastoralists in every district, and for now we have 250 pastoralists in all the districts of Rukwa region.
The increase in rabbit breeders goes hand in hand with the favorites of this rabbit meat, and it is increasing in Rukwa region.
Meat is delicious. I had never eaten it before. This is the first time. Rabbit meat doesn't taste any different from the chicken meat. We wanted to witness this with our own eyes. What I can say is this meat is great and delicious, and it's very prepared well.
Rabbits are cheap to keep and they multiply fast. Therefore, if you want to have enough food at your home, you should consider having rabbits at your home.
Jose Acho, TBC News.
Wonders there of rabbit farming and, of course, rabbit meat as well. And that marks the end of local news. International news is up next. And here is international news with Apasi Ringo.
At least 36 people were killed during an overnight attack on a village in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. A local official and the head of a civil society group said the assailants were believed to be members of the Allied Democratic Forces, ADF, a Ugandan armed group based in Eastern DRC that has pledged allegiance to ISIL and wages frequent deadly raids on villages. Provincial Governor of Kivu, Curly Kasivita, said at least 36 people had been killed in the attack, which began on Wednesday evening. The attack targeted the village of Mukondi, 30 kilometers south of the city of Beni in North Kivu province, an area plagued with rebel activity and which has been under military administration since 2021 in an attempt to restore order. The ADF often wages attacks in several villages using machetes and hatchets. Meanwhile, prosecutors to the trial of 6 people accused of murdering Italy's ambassador to the Democratic Republic of Congo in 2021 requested the death penalty during an accusation hearing in the capital, Kinshasa. Luca Tanasio, Italy's former ambassador to the DRC, was among 3 people killed on 22nd February 2021 when a UN convoy was ambushed in the country's troubled east. The military prosecutor, Bamusamba Kabamba, told the court that the victims had been kidnapped and dragged deep into the forest before being killed. He requested the death penalty for all 6 men accused in the case, whereby 5 of the men are being held in prison in Kinshasa while the other is on the run. Around 5,000 migrants are being held in official detention centers in Libya. Speaking in Geneva, Switzerland, the International Organization for Migration, IOM chief Antonio Vitorino said the act detaining migrants in houses is the violation of the rights of migrants, and he urged to look for alternatives to free those people held in those detention centers in Libya. He also called on the European Union to show clarity and predictability where it comes to search and rescue operations in the Mediterranean, particularly on the safety of the disembarkation points. In Libya, the UN agency IOM collaborates with the refugee agency UNHCR to provide assistance to migrants in official detention centers. Last October, human rights organizations have demonstrated against a renewal of an agreement between Italy and Libya to prevent migrants and refugees from reaching Europe's shores. Following the chaos induced by the assassination of the former Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi at the fall of his regime in 2011, Libya became a preferred route thousands of migrants from sub-Saharan Africa, the Middle East and South Asia. The Ministry of Health in Kenya has announced that it will expand the use of the world's first malaria vaccine in order to combat malaria in the country. The Director General for Health in Kenya, Patrick Amoth, said they have so far vaccinated close to 400,000 children, and Vihiga County alone, at least 25,000 children have been vaccinated against malaria. He said within those areas there has been a substantial reduction in deadly, severe malaria, a drop in child hospitalization, and a reduction in child deaths. The extension announcement by the Ministry of Health in Kenya follows a recommendation from the National Immunization Technical Advisory Group for use of vaccination within Kenya's lake endemic region and the WHO recommendation for broader use of the vaccine among children in sub-Saharan Africa and in other regions with moderate to high malaria transmission. Kenya is one of the 3 countries, along with Ghana and Malawi, where the RTS malaria vaccine is already in use. Israeli forces have killed 3 Palestinians in a raid in Jenin in the northern occupied West Bank on Thursday morning. The Palestinian Ministry of Health said the 3 men shot dead were identified as Ahmad Fashfeshe, age 22, Sofian Fahouri, age 26, and Nayef Maleshe, age 25. A fourth person, 14-year-old Walid Nassar, also died on Thursday from injuries he suffered after he was shot by the Israeli military on Tuesday, according to the health ministry. The 3 men were shot dead inside a car in the village of Jabba, south of Jenin, in what has been described by Palestinians as an execution. Israeli special forces, including undercover units in civilian clothing, raided Jabba, and there were an exchange of fire between Palestinian fighters and Israeli forces.
Thank you very much, Apasia Ringo. Now, sports news is up next. And here is the sports news with the team coach, Mario Cheto.
Tanzania Youth Athletics National Team says it has been working hard to prepare for East African Youth Athletics Championship. The players said they are ready to compete at the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium as the competition is kicking off on Friday. The Athletic Association of Tanzania Vice President William Kalage reveals that the preparation for competition is at the final stages as they are flag bearers ready to collect all medals as the race is to be compete at home ground.
Up to now we are going very well, although there are some challenges, but they are the normal issues and we expect that we will overcome it. About preparation, we are going very well. There is not a huge challenge that makes us to make a difficult decision. We believe on our team. We have a very good team. We will fight and then final to be the overall winners because we have two teams as Tanzania, the under-20 team and the youth team of under-18. So we expect to have tournament of two types. So we can win in the youth side of men and the same to women.
6 athletics youth national teams from East Africa countries have already arrived in Dar es Salaam and they are waiting for opening whistle to kick off. Dar es Salaam Basketball Association DABA is hosting level 1 basketball course aiming at increasing more expertise in the game. Basketball instructor Robert Manyerere and James Wamba argues that skills and knowledge to be imparted to coaches will boost basketball in Tanzania.
We're expecting to get coaches now with the knowledge of coaching, because most of them, they haven't been through these courses. So through that, we expect that we're going to have good coaches for the good teams, but also who can teach the basics to the kids, the fundamentals. Because this course consists of 3 parts. First, it talks about a coach himself, about the philosophy, the management, the planning, but also the other part talks about the player.
The topics range from coaching philosophy, which includes certain sections like ethics. We talked about sports medicine, and we talked about a lot of theoretical stuff, and now we're also going to do some practical stuff as well, as far as how to run an effective coaching session, the type of drills you might do.
24 basketball coaches across the country are participating in the clinic, which will end up on 13th of March. Mario Cheto, TBC News.
And that marks the end of the news bulletin for tonight. Thank you very much for watching. On behalf of the whole team, I am Nasa Kingo, wishing you a lovely night.